modern governments should provide that, because that's sort of the next generation of development for the country. So the thing that I saw that made me sad is that this place is funded and is provided by, you know, a member of the community, which is, it's very good, of course, that the community is sort of trying to handle these problems on their own, but I feel like it should actually be something that is more systemic.
All right, live, speed, action.
Alex, thank you for coming today. I've always wanted, recently I had the idea about starting getting a video of people who are first-time visitors to Area 15, and thank you for being here.
Yeah, no problem. I thought it was quite interesting, because one of the first things you mentioned is this idea that it's not really an advertised place, and you sort of come in and you're forced to talk to people, and whoever is nearby would sort of direct you to this location. I actually had a very much that experience driving up here. I almost had to ask somebody to find you initially. So I think that sort of connection to community is definitely present here.
What are some of the things, you said a lot of things we were talking earlier, so that's why I called my friend Ivan to do a little video, Il Glory, try to get a little video of some of the things we capture and maybe start some new conversations about, I mean, first impressions of Area 15, since this is your first day.
Yes.
And you're actually living in Istanbul, Turkey, right?
I'm in Istanbul, Turkey right now. And I've been in Charlotte before, and during my college experience I have had interactions with several other local businesses that I guess were started here, and they were quite powerful. And I was really surprised that this is sort of the first time I'm learning about Area 15, and that was also through a friend of mine. And that was because we continuously had these conversations about having a very similar either an arts incubator or a multi-purpose shared workspace, or a place where small businesses can start up, or a place where maybe just even our friends can get together and each one of them explores their own specific creative field. So this kind of an idea, as being active in this community for so long, sort of being undercover in a way, being hidden. And it's quite fascinating.
Grassroots, working on the grass. As you said, as you walk around Area 15, there's a sense of what? What did you notice in some?
Yeah, it feels very organic. And even though this has been established for quite a long time, as you walk through, there's always that sense of new innovation. There's the new businesses coming in. There's relocation within the building. At first, I was really concerned. You know, if you have a business that's growing, it likes to stay, then all of a sudden it just becomes into a conventional strip mall. You just have the same tenants everywhere. And it seems that it's not the case. You have small businesses, as they develop, maybe they take over a larger space and they move, and that's what's happening even behind us right now.
That's right.
And I think that dynamic atmosphere has it's sustained through all this time, and it's quite powerful. The energy is definitely there, where you feel that you're surrounded by other people trying to do essentially what you're doing. And there's that camaraderie and the sense that all the tenants know each other and they can help each other out. And there's the local community, and then there's the connection to the community about us. And it's a very effective.
Talk about, also talk about governments, how governments should be funding places like this, and you think that that's not happening here.
So the thing that I saw that made me sad is that this place is funded and is provided by, you know, a member of the community, which is, it's very good, of course, that the community is sort of trying to handle these problems on their own, but I feel like it should actually be something that is more systemic, something that is not reliant on one individual's vision. It's something that can be everywhere and not just in a few locations. I know you're trying to grow this into becoming multiple
And I am.
zones.
I'm trying to set an example here. So basically, other people in other financially poor neighborhoods in this country and elsewhere around the globe can take property like we've done here and turn it into a small business incubator and do it in a sustainable way like this is. And so I don't want to run them, don't want to be part of them, but I would like to inspire people to do that.
Certainly.
And any other things you think of before we wrap up the video about Area 15, pros and cons, maybe some negatives? You said, hey, you worry about what's going to happen to Area 15 after I die, whatever. After I go,
Well, that's
all sorts of things.
That's what I mean about the social aspect of this. This is right now just kind of you and anybody else who wants to start a similar business, but it should, I think, be an active part of the services that the government provides for the people. I think it's important for, especially in a generation in the world where information is readily available, there's really no more difference between what the CEO knows and what the factory worker knows. So there's really no difference in the information we have. So why should there be a difference in the kind of work that we do? Why should there be a difference in opportunities we have? That ends up being partially financial, partially opportunity, partially space, partially know-how. So a lot of that is education, but a lot of that is, you have to be educated, but then you have to have the resources to act on that. So you need to have a place where you can sort of pursue your dreams. And I think this kind of place is fantastic for that. What makes me sad is that it's so rare. And what you are doing right now with these grassroots movements is also you're keeping it kind of secret, which makes sense. That's what allows it to grow. I think if too many people get involved, perhaps not all of them will be passionate, not all of them will be 100% into this idea.
Yeah.
So they might just come in for a little bit, they'll enjoy it, they'll have the euphoria of feeling like, oh, I'm a part of something special, but then they don't really stick around. And you've expressed that concern before.
And well, that's one of the things I talked about earlier. Pretty much every day I have people come to me and say, hey, I'm looking for some work. And I go, wow, you're lying to yourself. You're not looking for work, you're looking for money.
Yes.
Because if there's plenty of work, we can help each other do our dreams and all day, all week, all year. But maybe not a lot of money, but there's plenty of work. Let's help each other.
Yes. And I mean, we can also have a very long discussion about the value of work and perhaps how skewed the perspective of what is valuable it is in modern society. But certainly what you have here is a very tightly knit community, and that is absolutely commendable. And I do think that it's very valuable not only for the people that are working here, but also the area around it. And I think this is
Thank you for coming from Istanbul. Past couple of years, you're originally from Russia. You're thinking about maybe doing something like this in Istanbul, perhaps.
Absolutely.
So, any way that we could partner up to help that to happen?
Well, we know our contact information now, so it's easy to
Thanks for
reach.
having your first time visit Area 15 today.
No
Thanks
problem.
for coming.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's a pleasure.